Welcome back to Everything But the Lesson Plan, the podcast where we go beyond the curriculum and dive into what truly makes teaching so impactful. I am your host, Franchesca Thompson, and today we're shining a spotlight on The Educator's Voice, a segment where real teachers share their stories straight from the classroom. From those unforgettable aha moments to those tough days that test your resilience, this episode is all about the voices that often go unheard, the teachers who are on the front line every single day. These stories aren't scripted, they're raw, they're real, and they're full of heart. Joining me is Dr. Teresa Wilburn, a deeply committed educator whose journey from her early days in the classroom to earning her doctorate has shaped not just her career, but her philosophy of teaching. She has worked across grade levels, embraced new challenges, and always kept her students at the center of it all. We'll hear about her highs, those breakthrough moments when everything just clicks, about the lows, the long nights of grading, and the inevitable setbacks, and everything in between. What motivated Dr. Wilburn to begin this path? How has her experience in education sustained her through the toughest days? And what continues to fuel her passion for education now? Stay tuned. This is a conversation you won't want to miss, because this story is one of perseverance, transformation, and the teacher's voice in the most honest form. Welcome to the show, Dr. Wilburn. How are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am great. I am so glad that you're on.
I am so glad that you're having Miss Thompson. Is always good to hear from you as you are
Yes,
doing wonderful things as well. So this is exciting. This is an
yes,
exciting venture.
yes. And I have been following your journey for a while and just love how we actually got to work together for,
Yes.
at South Gwinnett High School.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Fun times. Fun
Dr.
times.
Wilburn is my church family, my good friend,
I love church.
my soror.
Yes, we have so much in common.
So much. Okay. So I'm glad we're going to have this conversation.
Not
And
to not to mention one of the best things I like is that we're both from Decatur, right? Or we grew up in the same parts around town.
well, so I moved there and ended up
Mhm.
going to
Right,
Henderson High
right,
School.
right.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Columbia, the famous Columbia High School.
Hmm. And that's how I met Mark, is at
My
Henderson.
brother, yeah, my brother went to
Yeah,
and
that's right.
it's an interesting.
Mark were in the same class.
Yeah, well, the school system, and I will say this since we're talking about schools, especially K-12 during that time, during your era as you were coming up, was in a very interesting lawsuit that went to the Supreme Court.
What?
Did you know that? And so the M to M program was the reason.
Birth out of that.
My brother he lived in Decatur, but went to
Hmm.
school at Henderson as a result of the M to M program.
So I didn't know that was a lawsuit.
There
And
was
let
a
me tell
lawsuit
you
that
this,
went all the way to the Supreme Court.
you are kidding me. I'm gonna
And
have to now
that's
look that
how
up.
DeKalb County, it was mandatory that they integrate schools. And
Really?
uh, a little bit interesting about my journey
Hmm.
in that same time is when I started teaching school.
Hmm.
That was in 84 when I came out
Yeah.
of Spelman. And I was a student teacher at Cedar Grove High School in DeKalb County. And, when you finish your student teaching, they give you a contract. And I was going to start teaching but because of the lawsuit and the Supreme Court decision, all of the
Mhm.
Black teachers who were newly hired had to find a school where they would be the minority.
Really?
And since I was at Cedar Grove in a school that was in the majority, I
Hmm.
had to transfer.
Hmm.
So, yeah. And
Wow, I never didn't know that.
yeah,
I knew about M to M, and let me tell
yeah.
you my understanding of it because I was young at that time. We had moved to Atlanta from North Carolina,
Okay.
and we just didn't have all of these different things, these
Hmm.
integration policies and whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. So when my parents actually moved to the Tucker Dorville area, so that
Oh,
was my homeschool.
oh, that was your homeschool. Oh,
That was my
wow.
homeschool. And so I was hearing about the M to M program when I got to the school, that the majority of the black students that went to
Yeah,
Henderson were part of the M to M program. And
yeah.
Mark was also part of that. And what
Oh,
was that?
wow.
Minority to my majority? That's what it was. I think
From majority, from a school where you are the majority, you can
uh-huh.
go to where you will be the minority. So it's
Uh,
majority to minority program. That's what M to M was,
yes.
majority to minority.
Okay. And so the whole time, and so for me, it was always a struggle making friends when I had moved there because I lived in that Tucker Dorville
Oh,
area
you
and
live
all of
there, and
my
none of those
friends lived in
kids.
Decatur. And so my parents, I was always having to spend the night with a friend to hang out with her over the weekend
Yeah,
because she lived so far from
so far
me,
away.
you know?
Right. Wow. Wow. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's how you were. I know one of the questions you were going to ask is how I
Yeah.
started my educational journey. That's one of them.
Real.
And so I had to go to where I was going to be the minority.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
Yeah.
in the South DeKalb school, and I had to go teach where I was going to be the minority.
Wow, what an interesting experience just to start
Yeah.
that. So when you started, what grade did you teach?
I was high school. I
You
taught
were high
Cedar Grove
school.
High School. I was high school social studies.
Oh, social
High
studies.
school
Okay.
social studies, and
Yeah.
I had just come out of Spelman and was at Cedar Grove, and my career took an interesting turn at that time. From Cedar Grove, they sent us on interviews for
Mm-hmm.
us to go, and so I interviewed at Dunwoody High School, Stone Mountain. So I ended up at Stone Mountain High School. And
Okay.
at that time, Stone Mountain was predominantly white.
Really? Oh my gosh, you're giving me all the
So I
details.
went to Stone Mountain. So, and I was at the alternative school, which is
Wow.
located off of right by the mountain. And so that's where I started teaching social studies. And it was such a chaotic time for DeKalb
Mhm.
County during that time. And
Yeah.
I really didn't like the school. It was just okay where I was. I enjoyed doing what I was going to do.
Do. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and I loved teaching. That's where I really fell in love with
That was
teaching.
your
And
jam.
I'll tell you a little bit about how that began with me when I started teaching, and I was up there teaching and doing my thing and, doing all the things that I do as a teacher. And when I left after maybe even a month into it, I thought, I just loved what I was doing. Students are
Mhm.
interacting. They're actually listening to what I'm saying. People are doing what I'm asking them to do. We're having fun in this classroom. And then I thought, and then they're gonna pay me to do this? I
You were
that was
sold.
that's where I fell in love with teaching.
Okay.
I was like, and I'm gonna get paid. Wait a
Yeah.
minute
What
now.
did you choose social studies?
Well, at Spelman, and that's an interesting topic as
Mhm.
well. I came in, I was a scholarship recipient at Spelman of the Monica Kaufman Journalist Award.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Spelman as a communications major, and
Got
I had
it.
a scholarship from WSB Channel 2 and Monica Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
So I got there on the scholarship, and I don't know if you've heard this name before, Michael Lomax
I think I
is
have.
now. He used to be president of a lot of stuff in and NAACP. Now he's the president of Dillard University in New Orleans. But anyway, he was my freshman English teacher. He's very good. He
Okay.
taught freshman English at Spelman at the time. And he came into the freshman English class and gave us a stack of books to read.
Mm-hmm. And
Uh, I'm not
that's how
doing
you
that.
figured it out.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not reading.
Said no. He's like, that ain't for me.
Yeah, I'm not reading them. And they were great, black boy and all these, just wonderful, but it was a stack about all this. I said, no, I'm not doing
Hmm.
it. So, I said, let me think about this. So after that year, after my freshman year, I changed my major to education
You did. Okay.
because I was working as a student work study program person over in education.
Okay.
And I was mentored by the famous Dr. Gwen Middlebrooks. I don't know.
Oh,
Gwen Middlebrooks is another famous person from Spelman.
okay.
And so Gwen was my mentor all up until she died about a year or two, about maybe about 2 years ago.
Oh,
But
wow.
Gwen held
And
my
so
hand.
that was your mentor? Because that's
That
one of my
was my mentor. I
questions.
know Gwen
Oh,
was my mentor
goodness. So
from
you kept in touch with your mentor that whole
up until
time?
now, up until now. And let me tell you, Gwen, I have two mentors even now today, the same people.
Really?
Gwen Middlebrooks, and like I said, she marched with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King married her. I mean, if you go to Pascal's right now, there's a huge picture of Gwen Middlebrooks on the
Really?
when you walk in there. Because I walked in there one day and I was like, "That's Gwen. What's Dr. Middlebrooks?" So that's been I mean, like phone call every other day. Uh,
Hmm.
um, she was my mentor, and the other one is Dr. Blackwell.
Mm.
Her name is Dr. Brown, Dorothy Brown, who was my assistant principal at Columbia, who I still
Hmm.
talk to daily.
You
And
do.
these are people, yeah, I still talk to Dot every day. These are educators that were educators in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s that mentored kids like in Love Mentor. And
Yeah.
like when I would on my way to work sometime, and one of the things I did, I don't know if maybe do know this, I was assistant principal at Norcross High School for many years,
Hmm.
and I was assistant principal at Pius High School for many years.
Hmm.
And going into school administration wasn't my I learned quickly I didn't want to do that. But
And that's why I'm staying away from it because I already know
yeah,
time I say,
when we would have an emergency at the school, and I had to, for example, we had a terrorist threat one day, and I
uh-huh.
called Dr. Blackwell, and I said, "Look, I'm gonna." She wrote my letter on the way to school. I'm driving in the car. She wrote my letter. When I got to school, she emailed the letter to me, and that's the
Really?
letter I sent out to parents. That's the kind of mentor I am. This is
Oh,
what you do when you get there. This is what you say.
yes. Oh my
This is
gosh.
your announcement.
Your foundation was
Yeah.
solid.
She's like,
Okay.
this is your announcement. At least this is 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So
Wow. You
even
had
to
great
this
support.
day, yeah, even to this day, Gwen Middlebrooks came up to South Gwinnett one day. She showed up there. She was like, "Now what is going on up here?" She literally did, and
Hmm.
this was when she was. Now she became department chair of Spelman's education department up and almost to her dying day. So she has done a
Wow.
lot for education in the city of Atlanta.
Hmm.
And she was
Wow.
vice president for the state superintendent for many, many years.
Hmm.
But still, I talked to her on a regular basis. She didn't miss a beat. Um, people can Google her name, William Middlebrooks. But that's one that she came up to South Gwinnett one day. I mean, this is after I've been in education 25 years, just to see
Yeah.
where I was, what I was doing.
Oh, that's
Clay Hunter
great.
was the principal at the time. She introduced herself to Clay. That's when she put Clay Hunter onto the state.
Wow.
And Clay was like, "Who is this one?" I said, "Roll with it. Roll. You look. She
Wow.
good people. Roll with it." Because he was one that wanted to go more into administration. So those are my mentors.
Do you still think, and especially when I'm thinking about African American communities, do we still have that strong community base like that, where you
Mm,
have these good group of mentors that can support the new teachers that are coming up, giving people that solid foundation, that guidance? Or do you think that we're just kind of everybody's in their own little silos, doing their own thing, or we're just so just busy in today's world? That piece, because it was like y'all were a community. It was almost like, almost like y'all were, could call each other on the weekend and maybe even get
yeah,
together. Like,
yeah.
where do you think we stand now compared to what it was in the past?
A lot has changed.
Yeah.
Technology has changed
Hmm.
a lot of how we do things. and how
Yeah.
school operates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, School is very different. I'll tell you one of the things that Dr. Middlebrook saw when she came to South Gwinnett that particular day, and she's like, everybody here is not dressed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
I
gone
can't tell
nowadays.
teachers from the students. You
Yeah,
don't have on
most
stockings
schools operate
today.
that. It's casual
Yeah, no.
dress
Yeah,
and
no.
with jeans and all of
Ye-
those things.
Yeah, none of
That's
that. Yeah, no. You separated yourself
back.
by how you what you dress and what you wore. That's
Uh-huh.
how you separated the profession.
Okay.
You knew the teacher when they walked in the room. You knew the administrator when they walked in the room. And that itself commands a different authority.
Yeah.
That itself. So that one of the things, Shay, that's one. Okay. So the command for authority is very different.
Mm-hmm.
And our society is very different in how they command authority.
Mm-hmm.
So I was used to that. And even to this day, if I'm walking in school, I'm gonna dress up. It's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as I used to,
Yeah.
but I still think that you should be dressed when you go to school. I never understood the big thing about jeans and jean day, and I don't even like jeans. I don't wear jeans out.
Yeah. I think that
Nowadays.
schools are, schools are trying to recruit teachers the best way they can, and these
Yes.
incentives, especially, you got to think about like my child, Anexia. She will dress up, but speaking to them, their language is that casual dress, and that is bringing them in the doors and getting them in the classrooms. These schools are faced with trying
Yeah.
to find ways to incentivize that doesn't look.
Well, the thing is, okay, if you're going to do that, then how are you going to command attention?
Yeah,
Because I don't care where you go and what you do. When you go somewhere and somebody's all dressed up, you're going to look at them like,
that's true. Yeah. My principal has now dress up Mondays. And
yeah.
so
But I don't, that to me is like, why do you have to tell people to dress to success? You're already successful.
yeah.
What you dress into your success? I ran into a school like that not long ago, last
Mhm.
year, and they said, we're going to have a dress for success day, but you're already successful.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it's one of those he calls it your Sunday best on Monday. And so
See, back in
you
the day,
come
that
in
was
fly.
that was every day back in my day.
Yeah, and I guess this is a way to have a balance, kind of like where we can, cater to these youngins who don't really, that Steve Job and Michael, what is it, Mark Zuckerberg era where they just wear the
Yeah.
jeans and the
Yeah,
t-shirt.
casual.
Those are the people that are in the classroom now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where we
I get
are.
it. That's one of the I'm just saying, but it's one of the differences
Yeah,
and
it
changes
is for sure.
from before. And I'll say one of my adult mentors
Hmm.
as of now is people like Clay Hunter, um, Dr. Hunter, who was, I think, a phenomenal educator.
Yeah,
Since retired from Gwinnett County. Again, you never saw Clay relax. He always had on the suit.
yeah, yeah.
I ran into him not long ago at a party and was shocked to see him in a he
Casual.
still had on a collared polo shirt, but I was like, oh my God, that's kind of different. It was a pool party.
Okay. Wow.
But there's just so many differences.
It
There's
is.
so many differences. But I will say this, and then this is very important, that one of the things Clay taught me was if you want to change education and you are a teacher, you have to be significant.
Mm,
In other words, how can you
yeah,
yourself, be significant and make your mark on education?
yeah,
What's different about you?
got it. So
You've
that,
got to take the curriculum and make it your own, and you make you set you apart from different. And so, what we have to teach new teachers is
hmm
to find their significance
hmm
in education. Everybody's got the same curriculum. Everybody's teaching algebra, ninth grade. Everybody's doing the same thing.
yeah,
What's different about you? How are you going to make your significant. So that's what they have to hear. That's what I don't think they haven't heard um, in the new era.
Yeah, you're right. So let me ask you this. You've had many roles. You start off as a teacher, you've been in counseling, you've been assistant principal. What was that significant piece that you contribute to K through 12?
That's very interesting. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my journey. And I don't know how much time we have, but let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
Once I left Stone Mountain High School and decided that that whole DeKalb County Public School thing was different for me, I was
Mm-hmm.
sitting in church, and my background is Catholicism. I grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Saints Peter and Paul Church in Decatur, Georgia, and I was in church one Sunday after this whole thing, M to M, had happened. And a nun who was the principal, we had a school at Saints Peter and Paul. The nun walked up to me while I was in church and said to me, "Didn't you just graduate from college?" I said, "I did." She said, "Do you have it?" She passed me a little note with her name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, Sister Marita, I never forget. And she gave me and I was sitting in church. She gave me and she said, "Call me on Monday. Let's talk about what you're doing."
Mm-hmm.
And this was in the middle of my first year teaching.
Wow.
And I talked to her that Monday at the school church, and she said, "Do you want to come teach Catholic school?" And I said, "Absolutely." But the only opening she had was in kindergarten. So the next year, my second year teaching so I only taught 1 year in public school.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Saints Peter and Paul, where I taught 2 years of kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
2 years of first grade,
Mm-hmm.
1 year of fifth grade, and 5 years in the eighth grade.
Wow. Wow.
So that's what that was I went from seniors to kindergarten in 1 year.
Wow.
Kindergarten. And I will say, and I think you came to my retirement party
Mm-hmm.
and you saw there were some kids there that I was their kindergarten teacher. I
Yes,
don't
I
know if
saw.
you made that connection.
I did.
They have followed me. That was 1985.
Mm-hmm.
And those kids I'm still mentoring them.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was a class of them where I taught kindergarten, and the year that I went to eighth grade, they went from kindergarten, they were in that eighth grade class.
Mm-hmm.
So I was their kindergarten teacher, I was their eighth grade teacher. And then that year, after the fifth year in eighth grade, I went over to St. Pius as a counselor. And guess what? Those same kids, I was a school counselor
Counselor. And so they had no choice but to be connected to you and still connected to you to this day.
to this very day. This very day. One of them is my doctor, my physician.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
One of them, there's just so many of them. If they are whatever they do, I support them. If they're
Yeah.
doctors, I go to them as a doctor. If they're nurses, I go to their nurses. If they own a restaurant, I go to their restaurants.
Yeah.
You
You
know, so
support. You just
yeah, I try to support everybody. When they write a book, they wrote a book.
yeah.
They selling cars, that's why I'm buying cars.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that
That community piece.
however I can support is how I support. So that to me is mentoring.
Yeah.
Once again, that was a different relationship with those kids. When they graduated from high school that year, I found out where they were. Some of them were still at St. Pius with me. Some of them were in other schools. I gave them all a gift called Everything I Learned in Kindergarten, gave them a copy of that book.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I learned in kindergarten.
Wow.
So I tried to make as many of those graduations as I can. I've been in
Yeah.
3 of their weddings.
Wow.
I've been in people's
Sounds good.
weddings. I've been in folks' weddings. I told them to stop. I said, "Yeah, your spouse doesn't know me. Don't don't invite me. Don't have me in your wedding. I can be on stuff. Don't invite. I've been in folks' wedding. Fuck,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't need to be in your wedding. I'm 60
Yeah.
years, some years. I don't need to be in your wedding. But that's just a difference. But they were the ones those are the type of kids that keep you going.
Yeah.
They keep you going. You were at my 60th birthday party. A lot of them showed up to that. I mean, a lot of them showed up to
Yes,
that.
they did. They did.
They came from all
Y'all,
over.
look, let me tell you something. When Dr. Wilburn do it, she do it big. And she invite everybody. He is been connected to since the start of her career.
Came from Las
That
Vegas, people came from Mississippi. I was like, oh my God, I never thought y'all was gonna show up for real.
yeah, you do it big, ma'am. I look, one day I want to be like you,
I was
okay?
like, oh my God. I mean, I was really shocked and surprised that of how many.
Yeah.
But again, that's what kept me going in education, and that's what
Mhm.
lasted the 39, 40 years, whatever it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that
And the
that I
same
did.
for me. I still have relationships too with my students who were that I taught my very first year in
Oh
education. And
wow,
remember, I didn't start in education. I was in business first.
that's right.
And so, but I still could, and a good way to keep connected with them is through LinkedIn. They still text me,
Okay.
call me. One of my first, Shanice, she was my very first student. She also kind of looked like me, so I was like her mama teacher. But she still, when she comes in town and she comes to Atlanta, she calls and we connect and all that stuff.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's what teachers do. It's just our relationships last a lifetime.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
do. So,
Yeah.
and
When you make that connection, it's nothing like it.
mm-mm,
When you make that connection with it, it's nothing like it.
yeah.
And
So you ended up retiring from education and started your own business
well, I started my own business during the time of
during the
being
time.
in, yeah. So, and that's another thing I think that all teachers, what somebody didn't tell us was about the financial part of it. Many times
Hmm.
teachers complain about how much we don't make and we don't make enough and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Starting a company was the best thing I could have done. And actually, another mentor teacher of mine, Michael Woodward, might be familiar with that name.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of
Um,
it.
yeah, of Alpha. He owns Alpha
Hmm.
Lead. Better known as Offset's daddy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
Okay.
I know
But
that name.
Michael and I was assistant principal at Norcross.
Hmm.
And Michael was a social studies teacher, and we connected then. And he said, no, you've got to start a business, whatever you do.
Yeah.
He actually wrote my LLC one day and wrote the whole thing one day in the classroom. So,
Really?
yeah, and sent it off, did everything. He said, one day you go, got my EIN, did everything. So one day you're going
Good.
to thank me for this. And
Yeah.
years later, I wrote a book
Yeah.
and had everything already set up. He said, every day, just pay the taxes on it, keep it alive. Don't, just keep. And so that way it became a company that had been originated since 2013,
Hmm.
but I didn't really write a book and use it until, 2016, 17. But
Wow.
that's been the biggest at retirement. That's been the biggest. If I can tell teachers anything, coin what you have, open your LLC, keep it
Hmm.
moving and running until you figure out what it is you want
What
to
it is
do.
you want.
You can always find somebody to structure it so that you have things that, whatever you call it, whatever you name it,
Yeah.
just, you can always have, things up under it to structure it. So I think a lot of times we don't understand that part.
Yeah, you're
As
right.
teachers, we go in as teachers, we are protective of our subject. We go in and teach our subject, whatever we're teaching. We're tunnel vision.
Hmm.
I must say that in addition to that, one of my line sister, as well as my classmate, is Rosalind Gates. Roz
Hmm.
Gates is president of Spelman right now. I
Hmm.
don't know if that name rings a bell, but Roz came out of Spelman with me, and she was the CEO of Starbucks and CEO of Walmart.
Wow.
That's the Roz Gates that is that's a classmate of mine coming out of Spelman in 84. So when I saw Roz, and I forget what Roz's original major was, but when we graduated, I remember her going more into business and I'm going into education. I think, why we're the same age. Why in the world are we why is she, I mean, a zillionaire,
Yeah. Yep.
literally. It
Yeah.
was, but we're from the same age, from the same class, from the same makeup. But Spelman will
Mhm.
do that to you too.
Yeah.
Spelman produces more leaders,
They do.
African American women leaders than anybody. So um, that's another culture
Hmm.
that nursed me
Yes.
into what I do. So having people like that to look up to,
Mm-hmm.
is it's kind of remarkable.
I love it. Well, I mean, this was a great conversation. And
Absolutely.
when I tell you, you need to write a book just about
I
you.
did. Look, I did.
You and just your career journey and history and all that stuff. These people
Career
you
is
know.
been big. Yeah. My dream and what the next thing, look, what I'm doing, my next endeavors. My dream and one of the things I plan on doing is having a big networking party.
Hmm.
That's
And
what I
I
want to do.
remember going to one before that you hosted.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I want to do a big
So
one.
much fun.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to do a big networking party where people really network and get to know, and where I can really showcase people. Because I mean, I know a lot of good educators
Hmm.
that have done really big things and continuing to do really big things.
Yeah.
And they are they are they are remarkable and
Hmm.
very good. It can share very good information for new teachers.
Yeah.
And so that's been a good one.
Let me
And
know.
the last thing I know, right? Oh, you've got to be there.
I'm there. I want to say, look, let me set up my podcast so I can interview them.
Right, there you go. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah, I have so many people that you really could connect with,
Hmm.
that are doing good things. And lastly, I just wanted to mention that I am writing in a new edition. I have a new edition getting ready to come out of middle school university.
Oh, I remember
And
that book.
it was a bestseller on Amazon, became a
Hmm.
bestseller on Amazon in 2017-18. And the piece that I'm going to put in that's different from the last middle school university, it's going to include a sports edition, because I have look, I have birthed many athletes. I've had NFL athletes, I've had NBA athletes,
Hmm.
and a lot of parents a lot of times want to know, all their kids are going to go to the NBA or the NFL. But
Yeah.
NIL has changed the game. So I'm going to do a chapter on NIL for parents
Okay,
understanding
good.
and our students. Yeah.
Have you linked up with, I think it's Chelsea from church. She has that company, I think it's a game, and that's what she's doing. She's going around Georgia supporting parents with understanding sports and that NIL
Oh,
stuff.
I
And
don't really.
so
Yep, that's what my book.
is
I didn't know she was doing that.
yeah,
Yes.
she holds different conferences around the state. So y'all definitely
Oh,
need to link up.
absolutely. Yeah, I do know her.
So my last question is this. You've had this journey and it's been a beautiful journey, a beautiful career journey for you. I mean, I've learned so much just in this little 30 minutes, and I've known you for such a long time and didn't know all of these things, right? So I've enjoyed this conversation. But if you could go back to your first year, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your first year teacher self?
Stay the course.
Mm.
Stay the course.
Mm-hmm.
Stay the course.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be more reflective, try to be more reflective
Mm-hmm.
during that time. That's why I journal now. The journaling is important.
Yeah.
Being reflective of what's going on, what's happening, how you're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and really being present in the journey with God,
Mm-hmm.
understanding, and a young person, it's just hard to say that to a
Yeah.
young person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, but being present with God. So one of my saving graces was going to Catholic school,
Yeah.
where I had to pray every day. We had to
Yeah.
pray every day, all day, every day to be in the good class. So, I really liked being in a Christian school.
Mhm. So they gave you that was somewhat of a foundation to be mindful and present that you
Yes,
got early on.
yes.
Okay, good.
It
That's what
still
my
wasn't enough.
research
Still
is.
wasn't enough. I think I was 24. So
But
at
still,
24,
you still understood it though, somewhat, even though maybe not on the
yeah,
scale now,
yeah,
but you still a little bit of it, that was that foundation for
a
you.
little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
that's
I
what
would say
research
being
is
mindful,
about.
journal. I would encourage teachers to journal about their
Yeah.
journey now.
Yeah, that's true. And I don't necessarily journal, but I have this binder there that have collected things from really my North Atlanta days, and I keep all of these whether it's an article written or a project that my student did that I felt like was important or whatever. I keep this journal,
Oh,
this
wow.
binder,
Oh,
and I go
wow.
back to it, and I'm like, and the last time I looked at it, I was just so proud of myself. I was like, my God.
Yes. See,
You
that's
did
what,
that.
yes. See, that's what brings it to light for you.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what brings it to light for you when you go back and say, "Oh my gosh, this is great. This
I
is
was just like, I
wonderful."
can't believe I did all of
Yeah.
that.
Right. That's right. That's right. And that's what keeps you staying the course.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. That's for sure. Well,
So
thank
I
you
would
so
I would
much.
encourage that very, very
Yeah.
much. Well, thank you. I just love what you're doing.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna have you come back on so we can talk some more history. Okay,
Absolutely.
Miss
Oh,
Social
history. I
Studies
got that. Look, I
teacher.
got some history for you.
Yes.
And let me know, I have some very interesting people that you can that
I
that you
would
can
love to have them on for
that you
sure.
that you can interview
Yes. Well,
that
this
have been significant. Now, one of the persons I would say is Clay Hunter. That
Yeah.
changed
I
my
never
career.
got to meet him per se because when I got over to South Gwinnett,
He had gone.
Big Pen had hired me. And
Okay.
I guess maybe Clay might have been the principal maybe a couple of years before that. I'm not,
Thickpen's another one. Thickpen's another one.
yeah. I
And to
keep
get
in touch
him,
with him from time to
yeah,
time, but
yeah,
for sure.
he's one. Clay.
Hmm.
Uh, Clay has made a big difference in the whole Gwinnett County school system.
Hmm. Yeah,
Whole.
he was really there when they started establishing those academy schools where we are currently now.
Yeah, that was his baby.
Yeah.
Thickpen
Yeah.
picked up where he left up, but that was Clay's baby.
Hmm. Yeah. And I appreciate it. I love the academy school model and the opportunities that it brings our students.
Well, keep
So
doing what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. We look, I'm staying the course, okay? I'm
Changing
best
lives.
friends now.
Nobody's changed lives like teachers.
Yeah, that's right. You're right. And on that note, this episode is really about telling a story, and stories are good for the soul and helping people connect. We don't know who is going to listen to this one day, but hopefully they will connect with something you said today, Dr. Wilburn. So I thank you for your service.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
thank you for being you and not and your willingness to share with our
Thank
listeners
you.
today.
Thank you for having me.
Hmm. So, for my listeners, please don't forget to answer our poll, like, vote, and share this episode. And educators everywhere, I need you to keep on thriving.